Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. We got a ton of requests from you guys to break down Joe Rogan's podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. And honestly, it's a good one. We've got a stack of articles here ready to go. So we're going to try to figure out what makes this thing tick. And hopefully you can take away some nuggets of wisdom, whether you're into podcasting yourself, building a brand, or just fascinated by how content really grabs an audience. Rogan's a fascinating case study. You know the basics, right? Launched back in 2009, blew up in popularity, and basically turned Rogan from like a comedian stand-up guy into this cultural commentator almost overnight. But there's more to it than that, right? Think about it. Long format conversations, sometimes pushing 4 hours with guests. Oh man, they're all over the map. You got scientists, comedians, even politicians sometimes. Who else is doing that? And it's working. That Spotify deal a few years back, that $100 million deal, that wasn't just about money. It was a sign. It was traditional media saying, whoa, this independent guy built something huge. So let's unpack this.
I'm joined by our expert ready to analyze Rogan's whole deal here. What do you make of Rogan's approach, especially that guest list? I mean, it's all over the place, but in a good way.
Smart, really smart. Think about it. One day you're listening to an astrophysicist talk about the universe. The next, it's a comedian riffing on the same stuff, but like through everyday life. That's the magic, right? That unexpected pairing, it makes you think differently.
It's true. You don't expect those two worlds to collide. He's kind of forcing you to engage with ideas in a totally different way.
Exactly. And that plays right into the beauty of the long-form format. These aren't just quick little sound bites. Rogan's giving these ideas space to breathe. You need that for those aha moments to happen,
Which is rare these days. I feel like podcasts, I'm listening to like 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops. Rogan's over here like, hold my beer, we're going in.
He really is. And that depth, it taps into something we all crave, right?
Yeah.
Human curiosity. We want those stories.
Yeah.
We want those big, complex ideas. It's like the difference between skimming headlines and, getting lost in a book.
Oh, totally. You get so much more out of it when you give it the time. And it's not just the guests or the format. It's Rogan himself. He's just so natural, so unrehearsed, even with someone like, I don't know, Neil deGrasse Tyson on the show.
Right. That's calculated, though. He's cultivated this sense of authenticity, and it's huge for building trust with the audience.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to say, I don't know, laughs at himself, lets his guests be themselves. It's disarming.
It's like the opposite of those super polished, rehearsed interviews you see everywhere else. It makes you wonder what's going to happen next, and that's refreshing.
It keeps you hooked. But it's not just being unscripted, right? It's how he uses that to connect with his audience, like really engage with them.
You're talking about social media. The guy's practically got a whole second show going on Twitter.
Yeah. He doesn't just use it for promotion. It's like pulling back the curtain. Crowdsourcing questions, responding to comments, sparking debates. It's smart.
It's like he's saying, hey, this is our thing, not just mine.
Totally. And people feel that. They're invested, loyal. You don't get that with a lot of media these days. It's too passive.
And the guy's a machine. Multiple episodes a week, every week. That's commitment, man.
Shows you he's dedicated and he gets it. That consistency, it gets people looking forward to it, becomes a routine, like your favorite TV show back in the day.
Like you knew when to tune in. It was part of your life.
Exactly. A reliable source of entertainment. And thought-provoking stuff, too. But you know what's interesting? For all that casual vibe, the audio, the video, it's top-notch.
Yeah. It's not just like some guys chatting in a basement, which a lot of podcasts, let's be honest.
It's subtle, but it matters. Clean audio, good editing. Makes those long episodes enjoyable, not a chore,
Right, yeah. 4 hours of bad sound. No way. Rogan gets that. It's clear.
He respects the audience. Entertain them, but do it right. Speaking of which, remember that Spotify deal? That wasn't just luck.
You're saying there's strategy in partnering with a behemoth like Spotify? He had tons of listeners already. It's not like...
Right, but Rogan, he understood leverage. Partner with a big platform, boom, global audience, bigger machine behind you, marketing. It's a whole other level.
Like going from playing your guitar in your bedroom to a stadium tour.
Exactly. Smart move for the long term, too. Because Rogan's not just a podcaster anymore. He's a brand.
Sponsorships, merch, the live shows are huge.
He's diversified. Smart business, whether you're podcasting or, honestly, anything these days. Not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Gotta respect that. But while we're all taking notes here, I think the real question is, what can we learn from this? The listeners, the aspiring creators out there.
It's easy to think, I'll just do what he's doing. But it's not that easy. You know, you got to look at the why, the principles behind it.
So less about copying, more like internalizing the bigger picture.
Exactly, like finding your niche, right? Rogan could have just been another comedian with a podcast, but he leaned into that thing, those long, winding conversations. Most people wouldn't even try that. He found his lane.
It's scary though, right? Going against the grain like that, most people would hesitate.
That's where the good stuff is. Don't be afraid to be different. Ask yourself, what could you talk about forever? What are you obsessed with that other people might not get? Start there.
That authenticity thing again, right?
100%. You find that voice, and then don't be afraid to go deep. Everything's so surface level these days, but Rogan shows us people want that deep dive. Challenge your audience a little.
Quality over quantity, like they say. One amazing, mind-blowing conversation beats 10 kind of okay ones.
You got it. And engagement, real engagement, that matters. Rogan built a community. He's present. He talks to people, takes their questions. It's all part of the show.
Broken that wall down between him and the audience.
Exactly. And while we're at it, production value. You don't need a fancy studio, but good sound, clean editing, shows you care, you know?
It's like reading a nice book versus like a crumpled up napkin, right? Content could be amazing, but the presentation.
Perfect analogy. And last thing, remember, this stuff takes time. Rogan's been at it over a decade. Don't expect it to happen overnight. Explore your options. Be patient.
Marathon, not a sprint, they say.
There you go. Enjoy the journey. And who knows, maybe you'll have your own Spotify deal someday.
A podcaster can dream. But it's true. Rogan's a huge success, but there's no guarantee, right? Took a lot of work, some luck, being in the right place.
That's what makes it interesting, though, yeah? No magic formula. Take these ideas, mess around, see what works for you.
And that, my friends, is the takeaway. Joe Rogan. Case study in doing your own thing, taking risks, connecting with people. Anyone trying to make great content, no matter what it is, that's inspiring.
Couldn't have said it better.
And that is a wrap on this deep dive. Hope you got something out of it, feel inspired, maybe even motivated. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep those brains ticking.